So welcome to my kitchen. This is Cooking Today. Hi, welcome to Cooking Today. I'm glad you're here. I hope you had a great holiday. Can you believe we're only days away from being 2017? I think I wrote 2017 on a check the other day. I don't know why. I just, once you get old, it starts to all kind of mush together and can't remember what year you got married or your birthday. Well, it is almost 2017, and I hope you've had a really great year. This has been a ball. I mean, it has really been fun to be with you this year. So, what do we eat for New Year's Day? We eat black-eyed peas and soul food because it is considered good luck. And so today, I am cooking up a couple of really good things. We're making a good smoky, bacony, black-eyed pea soup that's loaded with good carrots and celery and onions, and we're going to top it with some good bacon bits, like crispy bacon pieces. And I'm making some brown sugar and bacon collards. We love collards, and I cannot wait to show you this recipe. They're really delicious. Lots of flavors in these collards. So I have 2 pans going today with several things going on. So let me kind of get us headed in the right direction, and I'll tell you what we've got. Okay, we have chopped several pieces of bacon, and we're sauteing those down because we want that reserved bacon grease. We do that on here a lot because there's great flavor in that reserved fat. We're going to scoop out that bacon, those little bits that we've made, and we're going to set them off to the side as a little topper to stir in our soup. Then we're going to saute down this amazing mirepoix, which is onions, carrots, and celery that we've kind of given a little rough chop. Pretty small because we don't want our carrots to be so big that it takes them forever to cook. And so we just have a couple of stalks of celery, a couple of carrots, and some onion. This is a great way also to use up some of your veggies that you have left over from your holiday cooking and get them in this good soup. So we have a little bit of this left over. We're going to saute that in our reserved bacon fat for our good flavor base on our black bean soup. Our collards. Now this is a different way to make collards. I have had many conversations with my friend Jacinda, hey Jacinda, on how I make them different than she does, but I think mine are pretty good. I'm not even kidding. One night, we always have these back and forth conversations about how I make food and how she makes food, and she sent her son over here with a Ziploc baggie of her cooked collards. And we literally ate them with our fingers out of the baggie so that we could taste hers. So I need to send some of these over to her so that she can taste mine. But anyway, we make them a little different, but they're awful good any way you make them, in my opinion. So the key, I think, to good collards is giving them plenty of time to cook down and then just adding flavor. Flavor, flavor, flavor. So what I have done is I already have some reserved bacon grease because, I keep my bacon grease. I've told y'all to do that before. And I have it melted down already in my brazier. You need a big pot with a lid. The lid is very important because we have to wilt our collards. And now I'm just sauteing down about it's a pretty good sized onion, so you'd probably do a small yellow onion or about half of a medium or large onion. Maybe about a cup, I would guess, if we were measuring. And I have these getting nice and tender over here in my brazier in that reserved, some of my reserved bacon fat from my little, here it is, my jar. I keep my jar with a good wide mouth on it so I can just kind of pour it all in there. So this is what I have that I keep my bacon fat in, and that's what we've started our onions in for our collards. So here's that. I'll just pop that down right there. And I've got my chopped bacon pieces over here that I am just giving a little saute. So I'm going to separate those really quickly and give that a good stir. Oh, these are so good, y'all. This is Sam's favorite. I've made red beans and rice on here before. He is a Cajun food man. That's his thing. It's his flavor profile. Smoky, a little spicy, a little meaty. And then that earthiness that comes from the red beans and rice or the black-eyed peas. He loves that. It's his thing. And he reminds me of it all the time. That he loves it. Loves it. Okay, so I'm keeping my eyes on these two pots. I've got so many things happening. And we are tearing our greens. This is going to be about 3 bundles of collards. And you are going to buy 3 bundles of collards and think, we will never eat that many collards. And you will, because y'all, they wilt down into almost nothing. So there's going to be a crisis and you're going to think, I've lost my mind, but you need to go ahead and get your 3 bundles. And then all you do is you just take them and you strip them away from this biggest vein and just tear them. I'm going to finish these in our pot and keep stirring our little things that are getting going over here for our good flavor. And then we'll keep on going on our good New Year's Eve meal. This is Cooking Today.
Cooking Today, sponsored by West Rock Coffee Company.
Hi, welcome back to Cooking Today. We're making soul food because it's almost the new year. New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. If you can stand to wait till New Year's Day, wait, that's the lucky day. New Year's Eve, you might just have to have it and then reheat them the next day. I don't know. Really great smoky black bean soup that we're making today that's real thick like a gravy. Not soupy, like real stocky and loose. It's good and hearty and has a good little gravy on it. So we're also making collards. So what I've done is I've torn up a couple of bunches of collards, stripped them away from that biggest vein right down the middle. I have sauteed my onions in a little bit of bacon grease because flavor and bacon, right? So I'm just taking these bunches of collards, and this is why I said you have to have a big pan. Ooh, I need to turn that down, that's hot. And I am putting my collards in my pan, and you kind of want to have your pan turned up so that you can actually hear them kind of frying, sizzling a little bit. And there's a little water on these, so that's another reason that they are sizzling. And I'm just kind of using my hands to start kind of nestling them down. And I'm going to put my lid on those over about medium heat for a couple of minutes. We want that heat to get in there and start to kind of wilt those down. If you don't have a pot that's big enough, which you need to start with a pretty good sized pot, you can always do them in batches, like put half of it in first. These are going to spit on me. Put half of them in first. And then let them cook down a little bit, and then add in your other half of greens or thirds or whatever if you don't have room. Because like I said, it's kind of like spinach. We've cooked with spinach in here before. They are going to wilt down and make more room. Okay? So we're lidding those and letting those cook down and wilt just a minute. Then we're going to add our flavor to them and let them just go to town. So we cooked our crispy bacon pieces. We do this a lot here because you can start with that good bacon grease, that reserved fat that tastes so good and adds a savory, smoky flavor to so many good things. And then we scooped out our pieces, and we're going to leave those right there because we're going to put them back in our soup. You could either stir them in, or you could garnish on the top. So many great things you can do with bacon. I mean, think of all the things. I'd put them on a cupcake if I could. Actually, I think I have. We'll do that another day. Anyway, okay, so I've got my temperature turned up in my reserved bacon grease from having done my bacon bits. And I have added in my mirepoix here that I've done a little rough chop on. And this is going to simmer for a little while in the beans. So the carrots are really the key here. The onions and the celery are going to naturally get tender because they are tender, you know, they don't have as far to go. They start off pretty tender. It's the carrots. The carrots are the ones that you kind of need to be watching and judging You don't want them to become mush. You just want them to get soft enough that they're maybe not quite cold crispy. You know what I mean? Tender-ish. How's that for an official word? Tender-ish. Because we're going to put stock in it. We're going to put our beans in it. And they're going to have plenty of time to go ahead and like cook a little bit longer. We don't want them to turn into mushy carrots. We want them to hold their shape. They give such a good little sweet bite in this black-eyed pea soup. Okay, so I'm going to give these a stir and kind of watch them. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to grab my lid and just kind of let that steam. I'm going to crack it. And I'm going to let that steam kind of, you know, when you cover your pot, that steam and that heat kind of stays in, and it'll kind of help move along my carrots a little quicker. Okay, we're going to do a little cleanup. And then I have my 3 cans of black-eyed peas. Y'all, these are just canned black-eyed peas. They're not ones that we cooked down. If you want to cook down your black-eyed peas, you can totally do that, you know, like dried beans. But you know how I feel. A little bit of elbow grease and a little bit of shortcut is just about right at my house. And so this is a great little quick shortcut for me to make since I've already chopped and sauteed and we're making our greens. This is one of the ways that I like to kind of cut things down, and they're really good. So, you know how they're usually filled to the top with liquid. I just take the lids off, dump real quick just that main liquid off the top, but I don't rinse them. I leave them, you know, I go ahead and leave some of that little sauce that's on them in our cans, and all we have to do is dump them in. It's just easy as that. I'm going to check on our collards, give them a little stir as they're wilting down, and then when we come back, we're going to create another little flavor base and add a little thickening to our soup and really stir it up and make it good. This is Cooking Today.
Iced tea, sponsored by Lipton.
Hi, welcome back to Cooking Today. If you're just joining us, we're making good old-fashioned soul food today so that we can ring in the new year with some good luck. So let me tell you, we have wilted down our collards with our tender onion that we cooked down in our little bit of bacon grease. And then I stirred them a little bit and then added a little bit of chicken stock to them to give them some moisture. And now all we need to do on these, oh my goodness, they look good already. All we're gonna do, I'm gonna add in a little bit of brown sugar. That's where I think that Jacinda and I differed. She said, we don't put brown sugar in ours. I said, oh, but isn't it good? I am throwing in some red pepper flakes for the littlest bit of heat. Oh my gosh, think of all the things. A little sweet onion, the sugary molasses from the brown sugar, red pepper flakes, bacon, the greens that are earthy. So many good things. And then, because we have not salted yet and you need salt, I'm doing a pretty good pinch of salt on these. Okay. And I'm going to do a pinch of pepper. See, I told you they were going to cook down. But I also have a pretty good sized pan, so they're going to look a little less because my pan's big. And now all I'm going to do is give them a spin, toss that in really well, and you really want them to cook down. So I'm going to crack my lid and then just let them kind of cook on about medium heat or so. There are probably different variations of when and how long that you want to cook collards. Some people cook them down to their utter mush. If you want to cook them down till they're mush, you can cook them down till they're mush. Ooh, these got a little brown. All right. So you can cook them down till they're utter mush if you want to, but I like to kind of give them a little, I like them to have a little bit more texture. But the nice thing is you can let them kind of go as long as you want. So we kind of are done with our collards so we can work on our soup. Okay, so we've got our good caramelized veggies that have gotten nice and tender. And all I'm doing is shaking some flour on top of them and stirring them around. And what the flour is doing, it's attaching to these little veggies, and we're kind of soaking up the last little bit of that bacon grease that's down in the bottom, plus some of that liquid that's just naturally come up off of our veg. And then we're gonna just cook it about a minute or so till the really white part of the flour is out. It starts to look, you know, kind of brownish or yellowish. We're kind of cooking that main flour flavor off. And then I have 2 cups of beef stock. If you have broth, you can use broth. Stock is a little bit richer. It's made with more, you know, with more bones, so there's a little bit better flavor. But we are gonna pour our stock right in there and give this a little spin, and you can already see, you can watch and you can see how that flour lightens the color of that stock. You know, the stock goes in really, really brown. It lightens it, and we've got us over about medium heat, and it thickens almost immediately. It really gets going. So I'm giving that a good turn around. Want to make sure that we're nice and mixed in. It's getting nice and thick. And then all I'm going to do is add in my beans. Look how easy this is. 1 can of black-eyed peas, 2 cans of black-eyed peas, and 3 cans of black-eyed peas. Oh my goodness. Here we go. Stirring it in, stirring it in, stirring it in. Oh my goodness, it looks so good. Then I like to do, I don't know, half teaspoon or so of garlic powder, or granulated garlic to mine. So there's that. And then I also like to add in a teaspoon or 2 of some kind of Cajun seasoning or blackening seasoning to give us that spice, like smoked paprika and some salt and just some really good stuff. A little bit of oregano even in this one. You can use it like a Tony Chachere's. You can use whatever is your favorite Creole seasoning. This is the one that I actually mix up myself. I'm gonna do a tablespoon and a little. How's that? Because we want it to be a little bit spicy and a little good old seasoning on all of this because it's so earthy thus far. Here we go. And do you see how thick that's already getting? So it's not soupy, like I said, like a stock. You know what, I'm gonna go ahead and throw in salt for good measure. It's not soupy like a stock, it's nice and thick and kind of gravy-like. So all we've done is stir those things in. We're gonna let that cook a little bit over medium-low heat. We're gonna check on our collards once they've wilted down. Grab one out and taste it before you serve them. You wanna be sure they're salty and sweet enough with a little red pepper flake. And when we come back, we're gonna spoon it up. A great New Year's Day meal for you. This is Cooking Today.
Candy, sponsored by Mars.
Hi, welcome back to Cooking Today. You should smell it in here. I know I say that all the time, but I mean it every time I say it. Y'all, it is the best New Year's Day meal, soul food. We cooked down our collards. See how nice and wilted and small they got? I told you. This was almost 3 bunches. So if you have a family of quite a few and you know you like them, you might get 4 whole bunches. Cook them down with lots of salt and that bacon grease and those sweet onions. We did pinches of brown sugar and red pepper flakes and a little garlic. I mean, just whatever, so good. Taste them as you go so that you're sure that you like the way they taste before you put them out. So I've already spooned those into a little serving dish, and look, I told you, look how beautiful and thick and that good roux, that gravy that we made with those sweet vegetables that we've sauteed. I am going to spin these in these fun little bowls, but you know what else could even be fun? Look, we could top them with our green onions and then our crispy bacon. Remember we did our bacon pieces? Bacon pieces. You could even put them in a beautiful, like a wide-mouthed bowl. You could put your black bean soup in the bottom and garnish with your collards right on the top for your little green garnish. Throw in a little bit of bacon, get a good big spoon. You are gonna love this. Love, love, love it. I hope that you have a great New Year's full of blessing and luck and favor. Try this at home and love every bite. This is Cooking Today.
Cooking Today, sponsored by West Rock Coffee Company. Kitchenware is provided by Una Mays. Iced tea, sponsored by Lipton. Candy, sponsored by Mars.